Welcome to a beautiful sunny Friday evening in Macclesfield, where this week I'm competing in the Hillclimb project, Hillclimb race number 2, up the Cat and Fiddle Pass. It's a very famous climb in the UK. Stats are here if you're interested. It is a very long, very gradual climb. I would disparagingly say it's a time trial, not a hill climb, but nonetheless, it's magnificent. This series seems pretty awesome. It's put on by Macc Wheelers, and specifically a guy named Beamer, and it has the feel of a community event, but it is a every Friday night through summer series of races with cumulative scores, proper timings and proper races, and yeah, the atmosphere of everyone come and get involved and just see what you can do versus a hill. So Macclesfield is about an hour from my house. I will not be coming every Friday night, but I do intend to do more of them, because it just felt great. It was fantastic. Yeah, we were lucky with the weather, but it really was great to get involved with. So just as I set off here, here's the start list so you can see the names of the people around me that set off just before and just after me. Given the length of this race, I've put it on 2 times speed. I hope that's okay. And I've actually used my rear-facing camera as the main footage for this, just because I'm having trouble with my front camera mount and it's very shaky. I was worried you might all get seasick, but you can see it in the top right corner. Because to be honest, on an evening like this road is magnificent, and I'd like you to see it from both angles. So you set off in a relatively inauspicious place, just leaving Macclesfield. This is just like a road out of Macclesfield that just never stops climbing. It gets rural pretty quickly. And at first the tarmac's really nice and smooth. This is very much a main road. It's akin to Snake Pass that I did a hill climb on last year, if you remember. It's one of the main A roads that goes from the northwest of England over the Pennines into the Peak District. So, very popular. We were lucky that it was really quiet for this race, to be honest. You can see barely any traffic around me. I've got the luxury of using the whole road, and in these races I do. Just past number 10 there, and then number 11. I didn't have the breath to give them too much encouragement, and I didn't want to be, I don't know, it's always a balance between being patronising, come on guys, and being rude if you don't speak to them. So, yeah, it's a nice little bit as you get sort of out of the tree line here. You go up through the forest, and the reason they do this hill climb project here is because Macclesfield has such varied topography around it. There's loads of hills, but there's like Macc Forest that's sort of steeper hills, lots of tree cover, and then moorland and I guess like Dales, Peaks sort of stuff another side. So it's an awesome place to be based if you're a hill climber, and I think the club have a really great atmosphere and means of encouraging people to get into these sort of races. So I've done this climb twice before. Once in a story you'll have all heard many times. I was 17, my dad drove me out, we started in Glossop I think, and we did the Cat and Fiddle and Snake Pass, and it was raining, but him and my mum had bought me new kit for my birthday, and I was adamant that I was wearing that t-shirt and shorts. Nearly got hypothermia going up this in the rain, and at the pub at the top they fed me like club sandwiches and tea until I was warm again. So yeah, good memories. I'm sure I was very slow there. And a couple of years ago, me and my dad rode out to Buxton from home, so it was a 250k ride, and we came up here, and I actually did a really good time. Spoiler alert, I did not get a PR today, even though I'd already got 100k of my legs on that ride. There was a slight headwind in this race, and you'll see that at the end, that nobody really sets a PR today, so that's normally, that's a good signal that it's actually slower conditions. We're just getting to the end of what I'd consider the first section of this climb, which is the, I want to say, relatively steep part. It's not very steep, but it's consistently like over 5%. And then this next block, which really makes up the bulk of the climb, is very much false flat, rolling really. It's like 2 or 3%, a lot of it, and there's even descents. It's not consistent. So my pacing strategy for this race was to go out really hard knowing the steep bit, and then just try and settle in here. And going out quite hard worked for me. Settling in did not. You have probably heard me whinging that basically for all of April and some of May, I've been ill in some capacity, and I've just really struggled with consistency. I may or may not have had the whooping cough that's going round the UK, but I've certainly had a cough that I couldn't shake and has stuck with me for, like 4 weeks. It's still a little bit rattly in my chest, unfortunately. But I'm getting there, power's getting back. But it just meant that when it came to saying, okay, I've done over threshold for 5 minutes, now just sit at threshold and keep spinning, that power just wasn't really there, unfortunately. So I enjoyed the opportunity of having a rest several times, and in this middle bit I would have loved to have flat paced my effort, but instead I ended up sort of punch recover, which has its own merits, but it isn't how I wanted to race this, truth be told. Take another moment to say, beautiful smooth tarmac, beautiful weather, and beautiful location, because I don't come out this way that often. I forget like how pretty it gets. You come into the Peak District, actually that little, I don't know what it is, stone circle on the side there basically said, you know, welcome to Edale, to the Peak District there. And I think the Peak District is maybe not as incredibly stunning as Snowdonia or the Lake District is, but it's magnificent in its own way, and it's a really popular place. Just past Rhiannon there, who's at the side of the road cheering me on. It's very good of her. She laughed, because as I came past, she said, doing really well, keep pushing, and I went, I'm fucked, which was true. And look at where I am on the map. I've got too far to go to be fucked now. Heart rate 182, that's mad. I rarely get over 178 these days, so to be sitting over 180 is showing you that, yeah, I'm not quite in the shape I'd like to be. Anyway, my thoughts on the Peak District. Yeah, it's more like rolling hill. I don't think it's as exciting to cycle as Snowdonia, but it's amazing. This isn't about a comparison. I've never gone cycling in the Peak District and not thought, this is incredible. I'm always buzzing to be there. So, you know, it's lovely to be there again and to be doing this. For being, you know, like a community Hillclimb, club Hillclimb night, 60 people entered this, which is just incredible, isn't it? And I think it's testament to Beamer and the organisation of it, that the people travelled from a distance to do it, and, you know, there were veterans, I don't know what age you call people, I think there were over 70s in it, and I think there was a lad as young as like 12 or 13 maybe, doing it, and it was just a great vibes, really. So this is the truly downhill bit, and I was thinking, Piglet always tells me, just watch speed. What you want to do here is go fast. You don't need to do high power necessarily. So I really did try and just make sure I was going fast the whole time. I think my metrics are slightly out because I'm convinced I got a little bit faster than that, but never mind. I could see in my front-facing camera a lad who was ahead of me. I didn't know what number he was, but I thought, yeah, I've got to really commit to chasing him without overcooking myself, because I've done that at hill climbs in the past. You chase someone down so hard, you get to them, you've blown up, and you've not really achieved anything. So it was stick to my pacing strategy while also conserving momentum over these little descents then lips. So this whole climb is a seated effort. As I say, there was a gentle headwind. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't hugely problematic. It wasn't like, oh my god, I can't pedal into this, but it was enough that it takes the edge off your speed quite significantly, and most people were a minute or two slower than their PBs, whether that's because it's early season or not, I don't know. But there you go. I just caught this chap and I was thinking, forget power now. Speed, down on the drops, or at least aero hoods, and keep pushing on. And the profile of this climb has a steep finish, so I knew that I needed to keep something in the legs so that I could really give it everything I had for the last kilometre or two. But you know, my heart rate's not recovering brilliantly here, so I'm trying to take these corners really fast. I can't afford to lose any speed through any of it. I made sure I didn't use the brakes at any point on this road, even though there's some relatively windy bits, and can't stress enough how blessed we were for how quiet it is. Like, this is still a main pass over the Pennines. It is a main road, and I guess Friday evening I expected, given how nice the weather was, people maybe going into the Peak District for a weekend away, and after work this is kind of the time that you'd be going up there maybe. But no, it was really really quite pleasant. Generally speaking, I think you can see all of these passes as well, very respectful, which is nice. I did put a video up of one pass which was not so respectful, and on advice of the police I have taken that down from YouTube for now, so apologies if you saw that, but it's being dealt with, so that's all I'll say on that. Magnificent scenery, I'll keep saying it, magnificent scenery. I hope it's coming out and I hope you're enjoying it, because it's beautiful. It really is beautiful around here. So I knew around this corner there's two things you see. There's a tea rooms, and then slightly further up is the pub that is the very top of the hill. It's no longer a pub, unfortunately, it's like a shop, but that was where we were aiming for. So I knew once I could see that, it just had to be an all-in kind of effort. In the rear view camera you can't quite tell, but you can see all the way down to Manchester, and because it's flat around Manchester and we're up quite high, there's always a bit of haze around it, and it always looks like some dystopian sci-fi city. It's always cool. Right, so this is it. This is final push area. I think that's the tea room there that you can see behind me, and then it's just like, oh yeah, a taxi driver whose radiator had overheated. And now, I hope if my timings are right with my syncing up of the videos, I just start going all in, because I really did, uncharacteristically for me, give it quite a strong finish. I didn't just do a soggy roll over the line. I got on the drops, I got out the saddle, and I started putting down over 400 watts, which isn't magnificent, but I was pretty happy with. So I'd like to come back next time they do the Cat and Fiddle, because it's coming up again in this series. I'd like to give it another go later in the year. I don't know if timings will work out for that, but it'd be lovely to do this race again. I'll be back in a couple of weeks doing, I think it's Blaze Hill is the next one I can get to. I'll do some more videos of these if you're interested. To be honest, I've been struggling to be motivated to make videos because I'm not sure what I want to say, and I don't see any point in putting out videos just for the sake of putting out videos, so we'll see. There may be some interesting stuff, there may not, but I hope you've enjoyed the Cat and Fiddle hill climb. As you can see here, I rolled in 7th place, perfectly respectable, a little bit disappointing. Here's my analysis. Power's okay, I think I did 313 watts average for the 23 minutes, which is only like 4.7 watts a kilo. Bit disappointing, but not like really problematic. And now I had a nice chat on the finish line, cheering people on. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. See you in the next one.